once again, and I will talk about American politics in general and how American people react on this. I think about Greta Thunberg once again, and I think about that why people trying to make everybody in the world hate USA right now. I understand the current state of mind of American people that we can fuck with everybody, we can do whatever we want, yet in essence what American people right now doing, it's raising more and more hatred. For themselves, and therefore they trying to let me give you an example. For generations already, two or three generations, America was expansionist nation. United States was expansionist nation. It was like expand all over the world through the through the capitalism, sorry. And they kill people all over the world for the benefit of American nation. No one cared. Even supported, like Korean or Vietnam War, for example, or many other conflicts. Like I found a picture where there was 56 invasions during the period since the World War II that America made. I guess 56 countries America invaded in, and some of them even twice. Countless number of dictators installed, countless numbers of coups that happened to overthrow the government that United States doesn't like. And Americans was pretty much, we don't give a fuck. We live as we want. And it all was like brainwashed propaganda machine. Brainwashing and propaganda machine are working very fine. And people in general doesn't care about any other country except of United States. So as long as they can consume, of course. So in essence, they simply got this state of mind when we doesn't care about anyone but us. To be fair, it's okay. But right now, when capitalism is failing and when things suddenly go bad, one part of American nation start to hate each other, or start to hate people, straight up hate. Like, why am I even questioning this? Why am I touching this subject? Because when people bullying Greta Thunberg, they are lying to themselves. They are hypocrites. They saying that they pro-truth, that they are against cyberbullying, that they doesn't support liberal propaganda, where every other conversation is shut down and every discussion is shut down. When in reality they doing exactly the same as liberals do. Exactly. Like larger, like, I don't know, from everyone who I met, and it was a lot of conservative side, people from conservative side, Trump supporters, for example, there was maybe two people who really considered to discuss something, at least something to discuss. Some of them agreed to discuss, but after I given my arguments, they shut me down, call me a commie, etc. So other side, liberals, they are straight up. This is straight up bullshit, in your face bullshit. It's nothing like They pretending to be good, to be nice, to be, I don't know, they are fighting for the truth, they are fighting for, I don't know, something good or something along those lines. If someone attack Miniaok, for example, as one person giving me this example, you know I'm against it. While I perfectly understand why Miniaok do it. For fame and for money. And she could be bullied. No doubt about it. And it's a bad thing. It's a bad thing, but she know what she is doing. While Greta is definitely either she doesn't know, or for that matter, what much more important, she became the target of cyberbullying only after she went to UN and give this speech. Therefore, who to blame in this situation? Her parents and the people who brought her to UN. They knew that there will be shitstorm over this, and they knew that she will be bullied. They used her. Who used Mini-Aok, sorry. Who used her? Parents? For money, for fame? Bully the parents. Don't bully Mini-Aok then. But I highly doubt that it's the case. Even in this situation, when you're talking about this concept that you are for the truth and all of that, no, Mini-Aok here to laugh at another person, to downgrade, I guess, another person, to laugh at her ideas, even if they are very stupid. You're not fighting with counter arguments. I remember the time when there was, like, in YouTube, a small bunch of YouTubers that was against this liberal propaganda, feminism, bullshit, etc., etc. They used to had an arguments, and I'm like, for example, V, even though I disagree with him a lot, yet he got valid arguments sometimes. Or Barbara for you to see. Barbara for you to see. She also from Eastern Europe, and therefore she know at least what she's talking about. I can't talk about Western Europe, and I never discuss what happens in Western Europe, because it was pretty much a different world from USSR. But I know what happens in USSR, and I know how it goes for USSR. I know that Bulgaria, Hungary, all the Baltic countries, who else? Well, Baltic countries was the part of USSR, so Romania, for example, who else? Czechoslovakia. It all was prosperous countries, while now they pretty much broke as fuck and depend on European Union. Do you really think this is a big achievement for capitalism or something along those lines? Do you really think that people get higher standard of living? Why then Polish people are moving away from Poland to work in European Union, while Ukrainian people are forced to work in Poland for a penny? Why is that? If capitalism is good, why they used as slaves? Slaves jobs, really. Dirty jobs. Why they used for those purposes? Well, I'm fall apart from the team. So, in essence, even if it's a bad idea that Aok is given, yet it doesn't mean that she must be laughed at. all you do right now, I remember the time that valid arguments for conservative and for anti-liberal or anti-feminist people was had valid arguments, while right now all I see is people laugh. They laugh, they shutting down conversation, they do not accept other opinions. It's like mountain king of the mountain. I'm on top, I won, therefore fuck off everybody and shut up and agree with me. So the topic was that United States invaded many countries, killed a lot of people, spread propaganda about communism, and even during the 50s, propaganda said to American people that, for example, good commie is a dead commie. You think that it's the right attitude, even though you don't have any ideas about what was happening in USSR, because what I see right now, I understand perfectly where you get your bullshit. Your idea about what was happening in USSR, what was happening during the Stalin ruling, during the Lenin ruling, is like you know shit about it, except for there was Stalin and there was Lenin. Pretty much everything else is like total zero. And yet you really think that good commie is a dead commie, and you accept it as, you know, one and only truth, and many people are translating it being a conservative and, like, for example, anti-liberal, as they think they are, while they repeating absolute liberal propaganda, because communist values is the family values, the same values that you think that you are protecting, while in reality you're protecting your liberal values. Degradation, LGBT, feminism, third wave feminism, you defending everything that destroying your society, and of course capitalism, which already destroyed your society. You see that there is a little problem. United States, this current state of mind of American people is not welcomed anywhere, except maybe for some countries that pretty much a lapdog for United States, maybe in Germany a little bit, maybe somebody in Great Britain, of course maybe in Australia in general. Other than that, people who love their country, people who at least understand what kind of harm USA doing, they straight up denying anything about USA. And you raise hate between yourself, 350 million people, and pretty much everyone else in the world. I don't know why. You create a good soil to hate for USA grow even bigger, and it's because of your egoism, and your egoism is leading you to your stupidity. Like, it's not even stupidity, it's narrow-sided, I guess, narrow sight. You see only what you want to see, you see only what you already believe in, and outside of this box you just simply cannot think. I talked to one guy in Minds that okay with the conversation. He accepted my arguments. He totally disagreed with my arguments. I understand his point of view. While Americans did not see anything but what they already know. And what they already know, it's not about the truth. It's not about the drain the swamp. It's not about the fight with corruption, as one man said. It's not about make America great again at all. Right now what you do is raising a level of hate. Even Japanese now against America, against USA. The country that at one level with Mexico pretty much admire USA. Right now Japan is against USA and turning its back on USA. Because USA doing the shit. And this shit is awful. You turn all Muslim world against you. You trying to put China against you, and India, and Europe, and maybe even South America, and well, Central America pretty much don't care about anything. So you trying to raise hate, and also I made video that why they creating conditions for civil war in United States. Why? For what the purpose? It's not very profitable right now to create a civil war in the United States. Of course, not world, but war could be an answer for the problems that right now capitalism in general have, and of course United States has been the dominant power in the world. I don't understand this slogan about make America great again. In what kind of way are you trying to make it again great? It never was for people. This country never was made for people. Never. In the best years of its country, it's all was about profit of financial system and corporations. It's all about rich people prosper. It's all about the profits and money. People in this equation is simple tools to be used, and propaganda machine worked pretty fine because 75 years since World War II, you're already okay with Nazism, you're already okay with, I don't know, fascist ideas. You pretty much fine to kill everybody who disagree with you, etc, 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 while you in the same time you saying that you kinda want prosperity to your country, and you really think that you can stand against whole world. If the Muslim countries, if the China, if you will turn your back on Mexico, if you ruin relationships with Canada, you will be pretty much isolated and will die because you have not enough oil reserves, you have not uranium reserves, you have not precious metals or rare earth minerals in United States. All you have is coal, some natural gas, some oil. Yes, you have some uranium, I guess, or something along those lines, I don't remember. But in essence, what you have is pretty much nothing. And in such conditions, people behind Trump want to do what? If you think that internet will die if you will turn it off, it's not. It will live. even after you shut it down, if you shut it down, and you will not, of course. People really believe in ideas that have nothing to do with reality whatsoever. People trying to push this notion that we are number one and you all fucking suckers suck my dick, etc., etc., etc. When they don't understand that the same people, the people from the same countries, immigrate to United States and try and starting to hate more and more Americans. You push anti-Muslim agenda while there is a whole lot of Muslim people in the country. You trying to put anti-China agenda when there is a whole lot of Chinese people in United States right now. You're trying to turn your back on European Union, or mess with Russia in general, when there is a whole lot of Russian and European people in United States right now, either working or go there to live. I understand many of them are already American by mentality, yet if there will be real conflict, how many people, how do you think, will raise their guns against American population, and how many will raise pro-American population? Will it be even 50-50? Or you will be outnumbered by pretty much immigrants? You really want to try. For what purpose? What you have to gain in this scenario? Because you must understand that if civil war will arise, many people will be, even inside United States right now, they will be against United States, not for the United States. Many Mexican people will be against United States, and they will want to, for example, get Florida, Texas, those kind of states to themselves, maybe even California. Why not? And you trying to raise this kind of hate to you, and you must understand that it will be you who will going to die in this civil war. Rich people will not fight at the battlefield. Rich people will be sitting in their homes or bunkers, defended by private guards or even private army. And it will be you who will die in the streets. It will be you who will suffer in these conditions. I don't know. As I said, it's not very profitable in general, but it's a way to restart American economy and the world economy in general. To put people against each other, make them hate each other, make them fight with each other, make them kill each other. Ethnic cleansing pretty much. But in this kind of scenario, don't forget, many Chinese people will not be pro-America. They will be totally by themselves. Mexican people will not support America. Probably not. Russian people probably, if they will knew that something threatened Mother Russia, many of them will turn their back on America, on USA in general, and will get the guns, because we're very, how to say, we can adapt to any situation, because life our life work that way. We need to adapt every day. And when you come to America, you need to adapt even harder. What did Americans, not the first generation, not even third generation Americans, can put against such force? And of course it will mean that any economical connections will be destroyed, of course. So think about the situation. Why you act like morons? And you act like morons not because you are morons. Well, yes, you do. Well, but you act like this not because you're morons. Yes, you're an egoist, you're mostly narcissist, mostly you doesn't care about anyone else but your own ass, etc, etc, etc. Yet you act like that because you was programmed to this. It's not like, you know, MK Ultra or something like tinfoil people. No, I see perfectly how they lie to you, how they put propaganda on you, how they twist and turn every fact that there is. As I said, why I even started this topic. 99.9% of what you know about USSR is a lie. Pretty much, as I said, for the period when USSR just arise, you know only two things correct: that there was Lenin and there was Stalin. Some people knew Trotsky. Pretty much that's all you know about USSR during that period that is true. And everything else, like literally everything else, is a lie. And you not only believe in this, you are ready to kill commies because you believe in lies, because you have no idea, don't want to research. You believe anything that people will tell you if it fits your worldview, I guess. And in such conditions you act like morons even more, and trying to create hatred between yourself and everybody else who already in America, who don't need to immigrate there, who don't need to like illegally come to United States to commit some terroristic attacks. No, these people are already there, and you make them hate you with each day. And this hypocrisy of so-called conservative people who for some reason repeat the same propaganda that liberals in Russia repeating over and over, trying to convince people in things that never happened, because it's like proven facts. They create such myths that you need to believe in, or otherwise you can simply overthrow the rich people and become the real owners of your own country. They couldn't let that happen. You must be slaves, you must be consumers, you must consume goods, and it's all your purpose. It's all pretty much. They transfer in technologies, they transfer in wealth in general, they transfer in the means of production. It means that they own companies, they own technologies, they own some patents, they own factories, already said that, right? Like fabrics, they own like literally everything. And what do you own? A piece of land and a home? which you pay taxes for, and if you don't pay the taxes, what they do? They will come and take it away from you. So how can you say that it's your own private property? I made a video on this. It's not yours at all. Your home is not your home. If something suddenly will go wrong for you personally, even it's not your fault, it's no more your home, it's no more your car, you out of job, you on the street living as a hobo, the same hobo that you now despise for living in Los Angeles, because it's warm there, let's be fair. But I hear stories about hobos from the north of the United States. Still, the question is here, why do you even choose to believe in such a stupid idea, stupid propaganda, pretty much, straight up stupid propaganda that even doesn't sound logical? Like, for example, Stalin killed its own people, he repressed 60 million people when whole population of USSR for the moment was 145, 180 or something along those lines, million people, like third of population, like literally wiped out. Why people exactly doesn't rebel? Let's say everyone, because people couldn't mention such situation that every third man suddenly died, right? They couldn't not understand what's going on. And here's the war. Even before World War, there was the war with Finland, and there was 5 million people who was army men. And how many people was in NKVD or work for Stalin? Hundreds of thousands for the most. And you really think that 5 million armed people with tanks, with cannons, with everything else couldn't defeat 100,000 of people, couldn't storm the Moscow, or during the World War II? What stopped them to simply surrender and kill Stalin? Why they fight in the name of Stalin, in the name of homeland? You never think about this idea. You never thought about this idea. If every third man simply disappeared and no one mentioned it, everyone was in Gulag. 40 million people was in Gulag. 60 million people was killed. Who even lived in Russia during that period? What do you think? How do you think? If there was bread lines, why everybody is still praising the name of the Stalin? When there was, since the 1953, there was de-Stalinization. Everybody hates Stalin because Stalin against power of the government, because Stalin was against power of the rich people, because Stalin was pro-working people. Lenin saved country that literally fall apart for that moment. Stalin took the leadership from the Lenin hands and lead country through two very hard periods and win the World War. Almost single-handedly, because cowards from USA don't want to involve. even though they suffer. They don't want to involve. They doesn't care. They sitting there over the sea and waited who will lose. And after they will came and took the trophies from the dead hands. Cowards. And to cover up this kind of behavior right after the World War, suddenly they begin propaganda against commies, goddamn commies. Because they can take away, because the concept of USSR that never became true in reality, the concept of USSR threatened to the same people who gained from the war, who benefited from the war, who now in charge and rule everything about your life, about your way of thinking, about how you act, about what you consume. They own you. You are the slaves of those people, and they understand the threat for them, and they create this propaganda. And 70 years, several generations of brainwashed Americans died far, far away from home for no apparent reason, for no reason at all, just because you say wealthy population needed more and more and more. And like right now you came to this point when everything is falling apart and you blame everyone, but not them, not those people who are really to blame. Look how they act right now. Look how they control your way of thinking. I don't believe that socialism is possible right now. I do believe that it's possible in some shape, yet I don't believe that it's time for socialism, or socialism will rise somewhere in the world. Yet I understand perfectly that capitalism is falling apart. And see, this kind of ideology right now in the world, that either we go into socialism or we stay with capitalism. If you support capitalism, if you support socialism, you're goddamn commie. If you support capitalism, everyone else hates you, because you're pretty much in support of dying economical system that just simply could not exist without another big, huge restart like World War, for example, or big catastrophical changes in economy in general, which will lead to huge unemployment, no benefits, nothing at all. Nothing like this at all will happen during the period. You will lose all your money, all your pensions, all your future houses, etc. And capitalism needs it right now. And one side hate it because they want changes, and other side hate it because they don't want changes, and it's going to the extreme. While I absolutely have no idea what will be next, but at least I'm not advocating for socialism. That's simply impossible right now, for the moment at least. It's impossible. But what we have as an alternative in this situation, a world war, a huge economical crisis that will kill millions, maybe, leave people really in bread lines, etc. I understand that capitalism is falling apart, and it's absolute obvious situation. What is happening right now is you piling the debt, is you printing the money, is you trying to convince people that everything fine, believe us, we will fix it. And people are get used to this kind of situation. I see it perfectly on my friend even. I tell him that there will be changes soon, and he doesn't care. He said that, oh, come on, it will be fine. Everything will be the same as it always was. We get used to this kind of thoughts because for the past 50 years, only 50 years, it's like a moment in history of human civilization. It's a moment. And we get used to this kind of conditions that it will be forever, nothing will change, nothing will be like catastrophic, there will be no catastrophical changes. Nah, crisis, crisis is nothing serious. I lived through the period when everything falls apart, and believe me, it's nothing good. And even though I do not clearly remember that period, I know it was very, very, very hard. And we now approaching to these kind of conditions where pretty much whole world need to go through such a change as USSR went through during the period of 5 years or so. 5 long years. It was total devastation. Not because socialism failed or communism failed. No, because of betrayal of Russian elite. They betrayed the whole population of big country. Because that's how capitalists do. And they was capitalists. Gorbachev, Yeltsin, even Putin right now, they all capitalistic leaders. They have nothing to do with socialistic leaders at all. I said previously, Soviet Union, it's council union. It's when people get together in councils to solve some problems if they have, to make some decisions if they need to. This kind of scenario never arrived after, I guess, 1921 or 22. Everything was in Communist Party. Every decision was made collectively. In hard conditions, in situation that happens during the World War, you need a single controlling leader, a tyrant in these conditions. Yet, right after the war, Stalin, no more a tyrant. He again called out those kinds of ruling of Soviets, of councils. No one cared about it. Everybody in America, everybody care about socialism has failed because it's man, because it's breadlines. Lenin was tyrannical. Stalin killed 60 million of people, and you repeating this after liberal propaganda. While I understand why liberals do this, but I don't understand why conservatives do this. Why do you repeat liberal propaganda? Why do you repeat propaganda from the 50s? When they wanted you to die in somewhere in Korea or Vietnam or any other or from 56 countries that you invaded. They needed you to go and die for their interest. And look at them, look at them. How many billionaires in the United States? Self-made, good man, American dream. Of course, it's all about this. Yeah, right. They are, of course, they self-made millionaires. Right. It must be very stupid to believe in such a bullshit that propaganda given to you, I guess. But the question is, why do you act like this? Why are you trying to make everyone in the world hate you right now? Look, we already hate you. We already don't like you, at least. We maybe love your style. So some of us love the style of living that United States have right now, for obvious reasons. You rob the whole world, why not? But we don't like you. I know millions of people who don't like you, who hate you, who despise you, and you creating even more and more and more such a people. Very powerful people, because they can throw at you millions of people, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people. Can you handle it? Do you want to die for the interest of rich people? Do you want to die again, once again, after the Vietnam War, after the Korean War? You want to send your children back to the battlefields, or go yourself to the battlefields and go die for the interest of some rich people and rich assholes? Is this what you want? To be stupid, to be brainwashed, to believe in lie, a blatant lie, who doesn't even have common sense in it. You want to believe in this, and you don't, absolutely doesn't care. And you yourself raise hate for you. And you post it in social media while posting your own pictures. When somebody see your post and remember this, and if something happens, they will find you and kill you. At least they want you to die. You really think that you can handle this? You really think that you can handle Mexico, Canada, Muslim population or Chinese population invade United States? You really think that you can handle this? You really think that if you will be against the, I don't know, against Mexican gangs, against black gangs of United States, do you think that you can handle this? Really? Do you that much self-confident? Do you that much believe in yourself or in your forces? Your army will protect you. Why should they? You're an asshole after all. Why should they protect yourself when they will be only thinking about their own ass, just as you do right now, just as you will in these conditions? Think about it. Why you turning people against yourself and believing in some false ideas, false propaganda, pretty much in blatant lies sometimes. Being hypocrite, being assholes, being egoists, being narcissists, being absolutely ignorant and even don't want to check the information that you want. You can't check it. I understand perfectly. I see what information these people is giving to you. I see it clearly. It's a bunch of bullshit. But at least when Russian guy is trying to talk to you, not from position of I'm the commie, I'm communism and socialism is good. You must install socialism in your country. No, I didn't say this. I have no idea what will be next after the capitalism. And will it be next, or they will simply reinstall the capitalism, like new form of Windows. You need to simply erase everything and install a new copy in your hardware. That's what must happen. Do you think it will be just simple as that? Just snap your fingers and everything will be okay? No, it doesn't. At least when guy from the Russia trying to give you an argument, at least listen. Probably, I know better the history of my country. I never said there was no repressions in Russia, for example. There was repressions. Do you want to know how repressions goes, during what period they go, how many victims there was? No, you already know everything. Better than me. For God's sake, after all, you live during the 1930s here in USSR, right there in Moscow, and you perfectly know everything, absolutely everything, and nobody lied to you. Like conservatives saying, mainstream media is total government propaganda. Next day CNN comes with the header, Venezuela is failing, socialism in Venezuela is failing. And every conservative, socialism sucks, socialism is failing in Venezuela. You just said that MSM is lying to you, and at the same time you believe MSM. Cognitive dissonance must work, and mass shootings in United States because of this cognitive dissonance, because reality doesn't fit propaganda, because propaganda, like 99%, is lie. They trying to brainwash you, and it doesn't fit in reality. Absolutely doesn't fit in reality. They promise you a better future, American dream, and it never arrived. Never. Just ask yourself, why do you breathe in hate? And you literally breathe in it. You want everybody to hate you. You will not handle this. Simple as that.